So in this video, I'm going to show you how to make fancy boxes that are styled to your branding with simple CSS. So right here, I've just entered the HTML code from the blog post. Put this wherever you want your box to appear. So over here, this is the post, and this is exactly how the box will look if you just copy and paste the code that I have. Here's the CSS that I've provided for the box. Now I would recommend you put this into a custom CSS plugin, or if you have the latest version of WordPress, which at the time of this video is 4.7, then you don't even need a plugin. You can just enter custom CSS right from the customizer, and that's what I did here. So as you can see right out of the box that, it's kind of boring, it's all gray. So let's start styling it to match our branding and website. First, I'm going to go over some CSS stuff, so if you do make a mistake, you should be able to figure it out. So this box in the HTML over here, it has a class called Fancy Box. So our corresponding CSS needs to also be Fancy Box. And it starts with a little period right here because that's what makes it a class. So if you want to change it, you can change it to whatever you want, but make sure that you also change it here, or else they won't correspond. So here is the Fancy Box, and then all your CSS codes will be in these two squiggly brackets. So you can see each one has a squiggly bracket. And then each line of CSS needs to end in a semicolon. If you forget the semicolon, then all of your CSS after it will not work. So just make sure that you're paying attention when you're going through and changing things so that you don't mess anything up. For these parts, you can see that we have the fancy box before the fancy heading. So you might be wondering why that is. Well, this just tells the CSS that this style right here is only going to affect a fancy heading that is within a fancy box. So if you put a fancy heading in your sidebar that has that class, it's not going to work because it's not in a fancy box. So that's just how that works. So let's start by making some styling changes. I'll just go in order so that'll be easy and I can explain what each style does. And if you want to add something else, you get confused, you can always Google CSS and then text align or border, and you should be able to find code and tutorials on how to make the changes yourself. So first we have this background of this gray color, and we could change it to a different color, maybe red or something. But let's say we want a background image. So for that, we would type right after the background and the colon, type URL, and then a parenthesis. And then now you're going to want to paste the URL of your image that you want to use, and another parenthesis. And now as you can see, there's a background image on the fancy box. So the color for the text, this is the text color. Currently it's white, and since we added that new background, we can't see anything. So let's make that a dark gray color. And text align center, I've put that in there because most likely you're going to want to center all the text within your box. So we probably don't need to change that. For the border, this is how thick the border is, 5 pixels. This is the border style. It's solid right now. You could change it to dashed, dotted, and there's a few other ones, but solid, dashed, and dotted are probably going to be the most common that you'll use. And this is the color again. So let's change some stuff with the border. And I have a little color right here that I'm going to use. I'll just replace this. And let's make it 1 pixel. And let's do a dashed border. Whoops. So as you can see, we can already see the changes that we've been making. And let's go down to the next one, border radius. This is what makes the corners of the box rounded. So you could make it even more rounded by changing it to 15, or you could completely remove this, and now it's a square box with no border, with no rounded borders. Down here we have padding. You probably don't need to change the padding or the margin unless you want some more spacing, but this is going to add some more padding inside the box, and the margin will add spacing outside the box. So let's say you want some more spacing on the tops and bottoms, change this to 2, and now we have some more spacing. So let's move on to the heading. This is the font family. I have default Arial. It's just a basic font that, so you can go in here. You can even remove it completely, and it'll take the font that is in your theme and just apply it right there. So if you don't really want to pick a font, you can just remove it and it'll take something from your theme. But we're going to change the font to the font that's over here on this categories, which I've got right here. So now you can see the font's changed. It matches over here. And here's the font size, so you can make it as little or as big as you want. So I'm going to go maybe about 28 pixels. That's pretty good. So there might be some other changes you want to do to your heading. So for example, maybe you want to make it all caps. So the code for that is text transform uppercase. So now our title is in all caps. And we could also add a border to the bottom of it too if we wanted to. That would be border bottom. We'll do 1 pixel, solid, and black. So that's how you can put a border on there. Obviously it's not looking so great, so let's just go take that off. So if you want the color of your heading to be different from the color of any other text in the box, say maybe you have a heading and then a paragraph, and you want the text to be different colors, we'll just add a color here. And let's have it be the same color as our border. And then now that's updated, but any other text we enter is still going to be this dark gray color. So let's move on to styling the button. If you have a code from your email marketing platform that puts in a button or an opt-in form, then you probably don't need to use this part. You can just enter in their button, and it'll already be styled for you. Hopefully, if you're using a platform that does it. I know MailerLite does, and that's what I use for my pop-up buttons. So let's see, we have the background of the button to be white, and that doesn't stick out very much, so let's make it the blue color as well. So now we have it this purpley blue, and the color, you can't really see that, so let's change that to white. And here I have some padding just to add some more spacing around your button. You can leave that how you want it, or you can change it. So make it a little smaller. So let's change the font family of this. So we'll just put font family, and let's make this one Arial. So now it's a little more simple. As you can see, it's really easy to style a box to put into your post or your page and have it match your website. All you need is, a couple color codes, your fonts, and you're good to go. These boxes are great for your content upgrades. That's what I use them for mostly, but you could also put in quotes, an author box, whatever you can think of. And you can copy all this and paste it again and change these names. You can even add just a 2 at the end and then create a new box that looks completely different. So you could have as many different kinds of boxes as you want. Just have to copy and paste the code and change the names. If you have any more questions, be sure to leave a comment down below and I'll answer you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching and have a great day.